referrals. We all want to do business by getting to know each other and trust each other. And so people who follow the system and have fun, you got to have some fun at the same time. People who follow the system and have fun are the groups that are the best chapters in the world. I hope that answered your question.
What do you see for the future of BNI 5, 10 years down the road from now?
Well, BNI is in the midst of one of the biggest projects in the history of the company. It's called BNI Connect. BNI Connect. We have a changing demographic in the organization. For the first time, by the year 2010, by the end of the year 2010, by December of this year, we will, for the first time, be 51% Gen X and millennials. So more than half of our organization will be 40-some years old or younger. And so it's very important that we address that changing demographic. And the changing demographic is very connected. They're very much involved in things like this webcam and technology and online social media. So we are incorporating all of that into the BNI system. We're not changing our core business model. Our core business model will remain the same. We will continue to have weekly meetings. I mean, think about it. All around the world, every week, we have 5,600 face-to-face meetings all around the world. That's just amazing to me. But we want to incorporate technology into it. And so we're actually creating a system called BNI Connect, which there are multiple elements to it, but one piece of it is a social media piece, which is a walled garden community. When you join a local chapter of BNI, you get to join the garden. So you join a local chapter, and as soon as you join a local chapter, you immediately become part of a global network of 126,000 business professionals all around the world. If you quit the local chapter, you're thrown out of the garden. Now that's important, I think, for retention, and it's important particularly for retaining young people, because the technology is such an important aspect of their lives. Integrating it into BNI so that you there in Alabama can network with and communicate with and contact other BNI members all around the world to learn how they're doing it in their areas. And that kind of knowledge and resource sharing, I think, will be invaluable. We hope to have this in place before the end of this year. And it's really about being a local business but having a global network. And I believe that this will set BNI aside for the next decade as the global leader in word-of-mouth marketing. Thanks.
I studied international marketing in school, and are there any BNI terms that do not translate? I think one-on-one is one of them, right?
Oh yeah, one-on-one has a completely different connotation in the United Kingdom. One-on-one, we had to change it, and I don't know if you've noticed, but we've changed all of our written material to one-to-one, one-to-one, rather than a one-on-one, and that's because in the United Kingdom, all of the men, go figure, all of the men are like, yeah, I want a one-on-one. We had some potential issues. It happens all the time. I remember the first time it happened was when we're particularly American slang gets us in trouble. I remember opening up in South Africa, and I was on the phone, and I told the national director, hey, look, I'll keep you in the loop on this issue. And he got quiet, didn't say a word. And I said, are you still there? He said, yeah, okay, I'll get back to you. And he calls me a week later. He said, I finally found out what you meant when you said, I'll keep you in the loop. I said, well, I'm sorry. I should know better than to use slang. I said, you don't have that expression in South Africa? And he said, oh, yes, we have that expression. I was like, okay, well, what does it mean in South Africa? He said, well, you basically said you were going to keep me pregnant. I assure you that was not my intention. And then here's one of my favorites. We did an article a few months back. As a matter of fact, you could go back. I'd have to go look. I think it's January or February of last year. It was an article I wonder if I could find, I probably can't find it while we're doing this, but it was an article where I used a metaphor about if your network is a mile wide and an inch deep, it's not going to be very successful. Your network has to be both wide and deep, and it's like the root system of a tree, that the deeper the root system is, the more stable your word-of-mouth business is. And so the title of the article was Get Rooted in BNI, and that's when I discovered that Get Rooted in Australia means one-on-one, basically. I started getting hate mail. I mean hate mail from Australian and New Zealand directors about me using such lewd and lascivious language in my article, and I'm like reading my article going, what did I say? So it is really, it's fun doing business around the world. Oh, here's another favorite one, and then I'll be done. In Malaysia, I discovered that this is a very bad thing. Do not do that. That's like flipping somebody off in the United States. So I'm in Malaysia and I'm going, now you have to make sure to do, and they're like, so I found out that you could do this, you could do that, and not get in trouble. So I went around Malaysia all the time doing this. It's fun doing business internationally. Here's a suggestion. There's a website called executiveplanet.com. If you're doing business around the world, go to executiveplanet.com and read about the country before you go there. It'll give you a lot of great suggestions, and more importantly, if you know somebody who lives there, ask them about the curse words so that you don't say it, because you'll be surprised what some curse words are. And ask them about hand gestures, and ask them about the do's and don'ts of doing business there, and you'll save yourself some embarrassment, unfortunately a lot of embarrassment that I experienced.
One more?
Yeah, sure.
What do you, for your elevator speech to invite guests, what do you ask?